Giga Chikadze, how are you?
I'm great, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be in Southern California at your training home, King's MMA.
Yeah.
What does this place mean to you?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's kind of my living room, you know? Where I spend most time, probably, since I moved here. Very special place, and I feel like a home in this place.
You're now inside the top 10 of the featherweight division. 2021's been a big year for you.
Yeah.
What's it been like?
It's definitely been like a dream come true. First, I fought my first co-main event against legend, the Cap Swanson. Then again, I fought another legend, Edson Barbosa, main event. Yeah, it's been a dream.
You not only fought them, you beat them. You not only beat them, you finished them. And you got a performance of the night bonus for those. What was that like to stand across from these guys that you were fans of and so good at what you came up loving to do in striking, and to get the better of them?
It's like, I don't know how to say, kinda, because both of them were one of my favorite fighters in featherweight and in lightweight. Very entertaining style. But I knew I was better, especially in striking wise. And I'm glad both of them were strikers, and I finished them, both of them, with striking. So now fans can see what I'm capable of and who I am in reality, you know.
You're obviously getting a lot more attention, but now I want to go back to find out how you got to this point. And it starts with, of course, your roots in Georgia and being born there at such a tumultuous time. How would you describe to people now that you live in Southern California, and a lot of people that don't know what it was like to grow up the way that you did, how do you describe to them what it was like?
In Georgia?
Yeah.
When I was born, the Georgia was inside Soviet Union. It was like 1988. And then in a few years we came out from Soviet Union, and it was a rough time, all 90s. From 2000, everything kind of started to settle back, and now it's like amazing country. It's like Eastern European, one of the country who rapidly growing and evolving and becoming a high-level country, or I don't know how to explain that. But as a people, there are very tough people, and especially when you pass all these, what Georgian people passed in 90s, it makes a little extra salt to become more tougher. So we've pretty much seen a lot of wars. We had some good times, but mainly like the people are when they stand together. That's when it feels that they are strong people, you know. So unity is one of the priority for Georgian people.
What was it like to be a kid growing up dealing with war?
A kid, I didn't really feel anything back in the days, because we grew up in that reality. We were kids of that time, and we still were finding the ways to entertain each other and play in the streets, you know, play the soccer right in the highways, or play fighting, I would say, with friends and family. Yeah, it was still was a lot of fun for us.
Mm-hmm. But now that you're a father,
yeah,
you have kids of your own. How do you think back on it?
Yeah, if I think that if I wanted my kids to grow up in the same time of Georgia, I would say no. No, I definitely don't want my kids to grow up in the same situation and timing what I grow up with, because the things I experienced and the kids experienced in Georgia, that was really dangerous back in the days. Yeah.
What experiences do you come back on thinking about?
I mean, coming out from Soviet Union and having a war, that's probably the worst thing I've experienced. Same time, it was a great thing to achieve, because I know I know now how it feels to feel independent inside the independent country, which we made all this together. So that feels very powerful to me. But the rest of it, what I experienced, like no electricity, water, and stuff like that, it was really hard. Yeah.
How did it help mold you into who you have become?
Definitely it helped me a lot to become the person who I am today, because I appreciate where I live now, how I live now, and what I'm experiencing at the moment. It's all this, the history where we passed before and where we are now. It has more value to me now.
In what ways?
Because I remember the time and situation what country was going through, and now where we at, and it's completely different picture. It's like the picture from black and white, and now in a colorful picture, pretty much. That's that type of big difference it is.
In terms of combat sports,
Yeah.
your father almost turned you into this fighter, right? From the time you were born.
Yeah.
You thought it was your destiny that you'd be a champion fighter, not just a fighter, but a champion fighter. When did that kind of take hold as a kid that you remember really loving it?
I don't remember myself without having that dream to become a champion. I always had that since I remember myself, because I started to train in karate when I was 4. And I was a big fan of the Bruce Lee and Jet Li movies and all the martial art movies. And plus, same time, I was hearing this a lot, that, Giga cannot do that, Giga cannot do that, he's too weak, too skinny or something, because I was always a skinny guy, skinny kid. And around me were like a little chubby bear type of kids who could wrestle well, and I never wrestled, so I was watching this little guy, Bruce Lee, how he was beating the other guys with some fancy kicks and stuff, so I decided to learn the kicks and spinning kicks very well, so that I thought that was exactly what I had to do all my life, and since then I've been doing the same thing and being in love in this sport.
Why did you love it so much?
I feel like I'm proving myself every single time I step there and competing. The challenge has been always the fun part in me and for me, and I feel like that's what drives me forward.
When you hear all these other people, whoever they were,
Yeah.
telling you're too skinny or that you'd never achieve these dreams.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I always thought they were wrong, and I was getting very mad about it. And then I was going into the gym and expressing my feelings with the punching bag, or just to train harder.
But you didn't buy into the fact that they thought you couldn't make it.
No, I never believed in that, because I knew I could do anything I would decide, and so they were kind of motivating me with that words, with negativity around at that time. Yeah.
Can you explain why you had that mental toughness? Because some people have the prove wrong as the motivator, and other people kind of start believing what they might hear about themselves. Why were you the one that decided you'd battle through?
I feel like that comes from the family. They always told me that I was the best, I could make things happen. My mom, my dad, I remember my grandmother raised all generation with that feeling that you are the best, we are the UFC Chikadze family, you're gonna be the best. And I feel like because I'm Chikadze and because I'm a Georgian, I feel like I'm the best. That's what that feeling I had all the time since I was a little baby, little kid, you know. So I don't know. It's a good question.
It was always ingrained in you.
Yeah, yeah.
What role has your family played as you've continued to make this way in your career?
Family always stand behind me since the beginning. First was my dad, then half my mom, sister. They would skip everything. All the family plans they would cancel for my trainings, for my tournaments. I remember when I went in Moscow with my coach without my parents. I was first time when I went for a tournament abroad. I was 7 years old. And when I came back, I had like a little bit money to spend for me, and I remember I bought a couple of presents, and all my money I spent presents for my family. Mm-hmm. So this was always in my head that family were sacrificing a lot of things for me. So same time, I always wanted to give them something back, you know, and till I got married was my family. Then my wife, then kids were born, and now I feel like the whole Georgia kind of stand behind me, and I'm feeling it every single day.
You mentioned Georgia
Yeah.
and the unity that the people have. For you, how would you describe the success of these other Georgian fighters in the UFC, Merab Dvalishvili and Roman Dolidze and you and others that I'm leaving out, but there's this wave of fighters from your country.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Caucasus, it's been well known with the fighters that we have like tough fighters, because in Caucasus there are a lot of different small countries as well, republics, and they were already known with the fighting style. But Georgia, just like 2 years ago, started to show how tough and how strong fighters we have, and this been kind of, we were hungry to show the world how strong we are, how good fighters we have, and finally we're making it, and all of us are very happy with each other's success in this sport, and we kind of push each other as well, you know. There have been many times when me and Merab fought same night, or me and other Georgian fighters fought same night, and it's like you win, and then, or your friend, your other Georgian wins, and you want to do the same, and you kind of push each other, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the competition that drives you to succeed in the octagon, I got to think that there's an ounce of that for first Georgian fighter to win a UFC title. Is that there?
Of course, yeah. I want to be the first, definitely, but I want also the Merab and all the Georgian fighters to win the title, yeah. And I will be very happy if somebody will be there before me, but I see that I have a real chance to get the first title, and it's always been my dream, and I'm gonna do everything for this.
When you're training, it's one thing to want to be a fighter and to train in martial arts as a kid. It's another thing to pursue it to the level that you've pursued it. When did you decide that you weren't just going to be a fan of the martial arts, a practitioner of it, you were going to pursue being a prize fighter? When did you make that decision?
Yeah, I never really thought that I was going to be a fan, because for the beginning, I was born, and same day, my dad is saying that he was born a world champion in fighting, you know. And then I realized that, okay, I'm training karate, and I never had this feeling that I'm doing this just for fun or something. You know, I knew that I was a big deal, and I was gonna be a big deal. I was always getting mad if someone would ask, "Hey, what do you want to be in the future? What do you want to do when you grow up?" When I was 10-year-old, right? If my family or somebody would ask me, like, when you grow up, what are you gonna be? You know, because I always knew that I wanted to be the same guy what I was seeing in the Bruce Lee movies. You know, I wanted to be that type of guy, but in a sport, not in acting for sure.
But and the UFC was quite different back then, and of course mixed martial arts wasn't your original entry into being a pro fighter. When did you kind of discover what the UFC was in mixed martial arts and have it pique your interest?
So it's funny that I still remember the day me and my dad, we watched UFC in 1993, the very first UFC. We rented the video cassette, and we rent the first UFC edition when Royce Gracie won. That time I was training already with the karate kimono, karate gi. So when I saw in UFC in first edition, like 8-man tournament, and Royce Gracie was coming with the gi, I thought that was something what was close to me. Yeah, and at the same time, he was a smaller guy compared to his opponent, and he was choking them while he was on the ground, while everybody at the moment thought that he was losing the fights. So he kind of was an underdog, and that's exactly how I was feeling about myself. Everyone would think that, oh, Giga cannot do that. And that's why I kind of loved that sport right away. Even he was with the jiu-jitsu gi, at the moment, for me, it did not really make much of a difference. You know, I saw some different uniform, the similar uniform I was wearing at the training. And since then, I've been loving, and I always had the dream to become UFC champion.
Why didn't you get into jiu-jitsu then?
That barely.
It took quite a while after that.
So I was already in karate, and karate moves for me is still one of the number one and most entertaining to watch. And jiu-jitsu, literally, that time there did not exist in Georgia. Now barely coming in Georgia, like only we have probably 1 or 2 schools.
But when you become this fighter, right, in your teenage years into your 20s, you go into kickboxing.
We have a story for that too.
What is it?
When I was 18, I got married to the girl who I loved since high school. And I decided I wanted to be a family man when I was young, and when I was 18, I got married. Then I didn't want it to live with other things. I wanted to live with the sport, and at the moment I was already a world champion in karate multiple times, and European champion, and all these achievements did not really give me anything money-wise, so I could not live with that sport. I didn't want it to become a karate sensei and coach. I wanted to be a fighter. And very close to the karate was the sport kickboxing, and K1 was big at the moment. It was paying a lot of money as well, so I thought that it was something that I could lead my family's life and could get paid from that. So I decided to move in Netherlands, and we lived there for a long time for kickboxing. till kickboxing died. Yeah, pretty much like kickbox K1 organization after a couple of years died, and that was the big falls in my life as well.
Mm-hmm. The fact that the kickboxing went away.
Yeah, because I made the big changes. We all moved there. Then my daughter was born. We settled. We finally felt like after 5, 6, 7 years, we felt that we belong in the city, And then everything crashed. Glory came, but glory compared to the real K1, it's like Lamborghini versus Toyota.
So, you're in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
with the baby and your wife.
Mm-hmm.
You got all this kickboxing background, and you're looking around,
Yeah.
saying, "How can I be a pro fighter?"
Yeah.
That's where MMA comes in.
So at the moment in 2014, me and my wife were sitting in Amsterdam with my daughter, and I'm already a European champion in Muay Thai and 2-time world champion in kickboxing K1 style. And we're looking that's not it. That's not what we were looking for. I always had the bigger dreams than that. And same time, I was talking a couple of guys from United States, and I had an invitation from Philadelphia's boxing school where Bernard Hopkins was training under Nazem Richardson. And they invited me to start trial of the boxing. And I had some experience in the boxing because while I was living in Georgia, I always trained since 13, 14 boxing as well. And then when I used to live in Amsterdam, I had like amazing boxing coaches, one of the greatest, I would say, there. And then I just give it a try and came to United States in the summer of 2014. I traveled in Philadelphia, I stayed like 3 weeks there. I had the pleasure to meet great boxers and train a little bit with them. Met Danny Garcia and a couple of great coaches, as Nazem Richardson and his son. And something I felt that, boxing was great. I had a lot of options to go in boxing, but if I would go in boxing, then I realized that I was not gonna be the same ninja guy as I had dreams earlier in a childhood. So I needed to use my kicks. After that, I decided to keep searching. Went in New York a couple of times, went in Washington in the same trip. And very last second, while I was gonna go back to Amsterdam, my friend calls me from LA, Georgian guy, and he's, "No, you gotta come in LA. That's what you're gonna do. You have to come here." And even I had a ticket to go back to Amsterdam, and we were gonna celebrate my birthday. All my family were visiting me from Georgia, my sister, my friends. And this guy buys me a ticket on the phone while I'm talking to him. We had like 2-hour conversation on the phone. And I'm like, all right, then I have a reason to come tomorrow. So next day I jump in a plane and come in LA. Come in LA, spend like 2 weeks here, everything changed. Then I found about Kings, I met other people who supports me till today. Went back in Amsterdam and came back with family. Since then we've been here.
Wow.
Yep.
So you were gonna say goodbye to boxing.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were gonna do.
I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I visited Kings. I had my sparrings, met Master Rafael and met Benel Darius. That's all I needed. I decided with my blind eyes to move here and dig and keep searching what I was gonna do in the future.
Do you ever wonder what happens if you don't spend 2 hours on the phone and don't fly out to LA on a whim and find Rafael Cordeiro and Benil Dariush and Kings MMA? It's quite a fateful experience.
Yeah, so probably I would keep searching
Yeah.
till I would find what I found after.
A lot of people will point to your UFC record. You came into the UFC highly touted prospect, former world champion in kickboxing. But people don't necessarily remember your first fight in front of Dana White on the Contender Series. And you lost.
I did.
What do you take from that experience?
Probably that experience in MMA was one of the great things happened to me, to evolve, to become a better fighter, to actually become the one of the best fighter in MMA sport. That's my dream. I'm working on it. But I think till then I was just a striker, you know.
Yeah.
And when I moved from Holland here, I always, and not only me, all kickboxers, we have this little bit ego that we think that we're gonna go in MMA and kill everyone. Because when you watch MMA, sometimes the technique of striking is not that clear, and the basics sometimes so off that you think that you're just gonna go stand with him and you're gonna knock him out with 2-3 punch and a couple of kicks. But the reality is completely different. There is 15 minutes fight or 25, which can turn into grappling, into wrestling part, and you might get submitted. That's what happened to me in Contender Series fight as well. I've been winning the fights whole 15 minutes, and the last 20 or 30 seconds earlier before fight ended, I got submitted, and by the guy who no one knows today. But I know very well, so it stayed in my mind for a long time. And since then, I need to mention that when I moved here, I was making a life still with the kickboxing. I was fighting a Glory organization, which was highest level and highest paid organization in kickboxing. But same time, I was spending my money and time in MMA to become a better fighter. And two things together to work was really hard for me, you know, like become a kickboxing champion and plus same time be an MMA fighter, to have a dream. So I give up my kickboxing dream since Contender Series fighting lose. I put myself into jiu-jitsu, spend more time. I competed many times in jiu-jitsu tournaments with gi, without gi. I signed up with the classes of the high school wrestling with the little 12 and 13-year-old kids. You know, some of the families were, when they were watching, who is this weird guy was wrestling to our kids? You know, they would give a question to the coach, but I knew I had to do this, so I didn't want it to experience the same lose what I had in Contender Series. And that's exactly what Dana and Sean told me as well. I remember after losing Contender Series fight, same night, we are at the Palms playing the craps. And Dana and me, we are on the same table, and he said that, hey, don't worry, just get better in the wrestling on the ground and you'll be back. I kept these words, and that's exactly what I did.
So you go forward, get another couple of wins, and then you get the call to join the UFC.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Me and my manager, we've been working on this for, since then, very hard. And I was hearing that we need more win to get. And I was like tired to hear about this, you know, because I got 2 more wins. And no one good fighter would fight me outside of UFC. That was really hard. And all the other organizations were interested to sign me, but I didn't want it to go in any other place. So I just decided to message Sean by myself. And I emailed him, and I said what was reality, what was going on. And I got an answer probably less than a minute. He's like, how fast can you make 145? Even I was like 40 pounds heavier at the moment. I'm like, I'm on my way right now. Let's do it today or tomorrow. And he gave me an opportunity. That was a big push to me, big motivation as well, because I saw that organization, and especially Sean, gave me a chance and trusted me. And till today, I'm happy about it.
What did you think of when you thought back to the fact that you watched UFC 1 with your father, and then you competed in the UFC?
I can answer this question when I'm gonna get the belt, but I feel like that's gonna be the very positive. I'm very happy that I see satisfaction in my dad's eyes. Yeah.
But that's still, the full circle hasn't been achieved.
Yeah, it has not achieved yet. Yeah, we have to get the belt officially, and then we can really talk about it. I'm still on the way.
What did you learn the most from being in MMA and kind of taking a couple of losses and understanding what you had to really work on to really get to the ultimate level? What's the most important thing that you learned from that experience?
I learned that when you have a big dream and when you have a big goal, sometimes the things doesn't go the way you plan, and there is always something on the way that you need to overcome. You need to have more patience. Patience been always my problem since I was a little kid. This is one of the main things I learned while I'm doing the MMA. I know my chance is gonna come. I know I'm gonna get a belt. Just need to be patient, keep working on this very hard. Doesn't matter who and what gonna say. Just need to believe in myself and keep moving forward. Even I've had crazy injuries, multiple, but when I keep this positive feeling, everything can happen. Recovery can happen very fast as well. And I know the dream's gonna come true.
You sit in the top 10 right now, and most people will remember your recent results, which have been spectacular. But you started by going the distance 4 times, and the first 2 were split decision victories. What changed from when you went the distance and you went to decisions in the UFC to ultimately having these highlight reel knockouts where you really display the world-class striking that you have? What was the click?
So the first 2 fights, it was still, when you go at the place and you don't know nothing, kind of which room, when you go into a new house as a guest, and you open the door of the one room and, oh, I'm sorry, it's someone's bedroom, and then you go to the kitchen instead of go to bathroom. And once you test it, then you kind of feel more comfortable and more relaxed, right? So first 2 fights, I needed to test myself on the ground a little bit, on takedown defense as well. And I lost in Contender Series, as you mentioned earlier, and I didn't want this to experience, so my striking was very limited. I tried to stay more safe, not to get crazy. At the same time, I had this problem to be a patient fighter. I'm very emotional, being an emotional fighter in karate, in kickboxing. Same was happening into MMA. So now I kind of learn myself, test it first, got split decisions win. Then I got, everyone mentioned about my cardio, but people don't know that at the moment when I fought both of the times, camps were very short, 2 weeks, and the second one was 1 week, and both of the times I had a staph infection, so I was on antibiotics. People were mentioning about my cardios, right? So I started to work on my cardio crazy, and then I had the 2 decision wins. And I can say that both of the fights were very entertaining. I finished from the beginning till the end, never got tired. Did not get taken down, and could not finish till the guys. Then got more comfortable. I forget about the wrestling scare feeling and jiu-jitsu kind of ground game. I was not scared no more. And once I relaxed more, then knockout came just like that, and then again and then again. So it took some time to get more relaxed in the cage, in the octagon.
What's the feeling like when it all comes together and you get that knockout win?
The last finish had some story background because my teammate lost against Barbosa, and I had this hunger to overcome this and kind of make rematch as a team, you know. But the other ones were just like I don't know how to explain.
Like, how would you describe the feeling, not specific to one of the finishes, but just when you
get
end the fight, how you think you're going to end it, you know, with a spectacular Giga kick or some striking technique that you've obviously become known for?
Yeah, when you finish someone with a Giga kick or some of the spectacular technique with the striking, I feel like I showed myself who I am to the fans, and that's when I feel the job has done the way it should be. So everything on point, and on to another one right away.
So now that you're in the top 10, how would you describe what life is like, knowing that you were a kickboxer and then maybe a boxer, and then what is this MMA thing? And then you fly to LA. Now you're a top 10 fighter.
Yeah.
What's life like with that?
Finally, we're settling well. You know, my family feels good and relaxed more because they know that I found my passion, and I found my happiness, and everything is getting better. Every day I wake up happy, and I know what I'm looking in 1 year, in 2 years. I know where is this gonna go, and enjoying the moment, you know, enjoying the process, stepping forward, moving front.
Do you talk to your wife about the journey that you guys have been on?
Yeah, we talk about this multiple times, and
When did you meet? How old were you?
14. Yeah, 14. After all the changes, first to Netherlands, then to here. It's been a nice journey with her, and we both are happy.
What do you think about the most on a day-to-day now that you've arrived at this level where the fights there's so much on the line with each fight now?
Yeah.
What's the most important thing for you?
I didn't get a question. Most important to me as a fighter or the career, or?
As for you to decide.
Oh, whatever.
Like, what do you find yourself thinking about the most?
At the moment, I only think about the belt. That's something that I promised to my country, to my people, when I left Georgia. So I said on TV that I was going to become a UFC champion. And this is what I'm looking in 2022, to bring the gold in Georgia.
When you think about winning the belt, what do you think about?
When I become UFC champion and bring the gold in Georgia, I feel like I'm gonna make so many people happy there. It's been always a dream to support my country in worldwide. We're a very small country. We don't really have a lot of heroes these times, and that's what I want to be from Georgia. Yeah.
But of course, first is a pretty tough test against Calvin Kattar.
Oh yeah, I know. We got a tough test, Calvin Kattar. He's a very strong fighter. Yeah, all of them in top 10, I can say that they are very strong fighters, hungry. They have their dreams. They're looking to the same goal what I'm looking. But I feel confident for my future. I feel I'm the real champ who just make himself soon official. And this time we have Calvin Kattar, and I've been watching his fights for a long time before I was in UFC. And I like his style as well. You know, he's a striker. He has multiple great techniques, which I've been using the similar things in kickboxing as well. But we're gonna get this job done first and then move forward.
Confidence has never been an issue for you.
Never. Yeah.
It's easy to see why. Quite a journey you've been on, Giga.
Yeah, it's similar things I experienced first in karate and then in kickboxing. And people say you cannot do that, and I've done that. So now it's MMA. I know it's a top 10, as you mentioned. It's a world level, highest level fighters. Top 10 savages in featherweight, and Calvin Kattar is top 5. So I know what I need to do against him to get a W, and that's exactly looking forward for this. Yeah.
Well, you certainly proved you belong up there. Thanks for sitting down with me, Giga. It's nice to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks a lot for your time and talking to me as well.